Hello, my name is METİN ARIDAŞIR. This is 20th part of explanation, my theory. ARIDAŞIR'S constant 1227 nanometer volt and analyzes tool for X-ray and Blackbody continuous spectrums by this tool. If we know an electron's initial wavelength, depend on how much voltage applied on it by ARIDAŞIR'S constant and by my formula. ARIDAŞ constant is my constant, and by my formula, this one. And this is the flow chart of ARIDAŞIR'S constant and ARIDAŞIR'S formulas application. Flow chart. I'm sorry. If we know an electron's initial wavelength, we know, I said before, according to my theory and my formulas, in universe, there are different wavelengths, sizes, electron motion forms. Yes, ARIDAŞIR'S constant 1227 nanometer volt and analyzes tool for X-ray and Blackbody continuous spectrums by this tool. If we know an electron's initial wavelength, lambda n, depend on how much voltage applied on it, we can predict electron's velocity. We can predict its corresponding wavelength in its relocation direction at 0 degree. We can predict the wave velocity in all directions. We say all of that about free electron motion form. At rest or relocating, accelerating or decelerating. Okay. Free electron motion form, relocating. All of this about that electron motion form. We can predict the wavelength of successive waves of relocating electron motion in motion form in all directions. We can predict the touching energies of all points of wave in all directions on the spherical electron motion form. We can predict the touching energies, yes, I said that. We can predict which emission lines coincides with on which point and at which angle on the X-rays continuous spectrum graphs. On the next, I will tell again. We can predict for a certain emission lines occurring on the continuous spectrum what must be minimum velocity of relocation electron motion form, and for this minimum how many volts will be required for applying on. Okay, I will explain next. ARIDAŞIR'S 1227 nanometer volt constant and lambda n minus delta lambda multiplied by voltage equal to 1227 nanometer volt formula predicts the results of Davison and Germer and son of Thomson experiments. These experiments results are some of proofs of these constant, my constant and my formulas proofs. ARIDAŞIR'S constant 1227 nanometer volt and lambda n minus delta lambda multiplied by voltage equal to 1227 nanometer volt formula, my constant, is determinative for three, not related, and each of that is inconsistent with another formulas. One of that, the Hund law. here. It contradicts with the Broglie wavelength formula. Two of that contradicts. Okay. Another one is the Broglie wavelength formula. Last one is Wien's displacement law. And it's constant. Okay? So interesting. In fact, here, in three of that, there is no this distinction, lambda n minus delta lambda distinction. And yes, all of that, in fact, about what? Wien's law, including, in spite of it is related to temperature, not voltage. According to my theory and my formulas, this is related to free electron motion forms, relocating free electron motion forms. All of that about free electron motion form, according to my theory and my formulas. Now, I'm gonna talk about my flowchart of ARIDAŞIR'S constant and formula, my formula and my constant. Here, I make ready it. I did. This is my constant. (1227 nanometer). ARIDAŞIR'S constant, and this is my formula, lambda n delta, lambda n minus, here. Lambda n minus delta, lambda equal to 1227 divided by voltage. Okay. Here, starting. Two of that. This is my constant, ARIDAŞIR'S constant. This is my formula. If we know applied voltage and if we know lambda n, electron motion forms initial wavelength. Here. Remember this graph. Lambda n here. Lambda n minus delta lambda. Okay. At a certain volt, applied voltage to an electron which is at a certain initial at rest wavelength, firstly, we can find in this way delta lambda. Then distributed with this finding, we can find relocating electron motion forms which is applied on voltage, electric potential, electron. That electron's velocity is can finding from here. And B, wave velocity, relocating electron motion from successive waves, wave velocity, relates to its direction of relocating and velocity. The wave velocity at any point of the wave in any direction we can find from that. And we can find lambda alpha equal to lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha, wavelength at any point of the wave in any direction. We can find that. We can find that d equal to c minus electron motion forms velocity ve cosine alpha. We said that before. And from there we can find what? 0 degree d. Wave velocity in the relocation direction of electron. And here, this is d equals c minus v. And here we can find lambda alpha 0 degree equal to lambda n minus delta lambda. Wavelength in the relocation direction of electron motion form, we say corresponding wavelength. Associated with what? De Broglie's associated wavelength, but it's not relate this. It's original. And next, I will show De Broglie formula is wrong. Okay. And from this we can find, think of electron motion forms is relocating or at rest. We think of about it is relocating, accelerating or decelerating or inertial in motion, inertial motion. It is free electron motion form, whatever. As a sphere, touching energy, not touching. At level of electronic interactions, I said I defined that touching energy, point energy of a sphere. Energy distribution we can compute from these, etc. on this sphere and on successive spheres of this electron motion form. Now, touching energy. En alpha, this formula, H multiplied by C divided by N square, N, what is N? Successive wave number. N square parenthesis lambda n minus delta lambda cosine alpha, touching energy at any point of the spherical wave in any direction. Another same results, it gives same result. En alpha H multiplied by C square divided by N square lambda n C minus electron motion forms velocity ve cosine alpha. Here, this V, these are from universal reality, meta-perception, sensational matter, and VE from subjective reality. Remember my sentence. Light is bridge between two universes. Okay, then here. Okay. This is my chart. This is my constant, ARIDAŞIR'S constant, 1227 nanometer volt. This is my formula, lambda n minus delta lambda equal to 1227 divided by voltage. Then here. This is the X-ray graph. And applied voltage, if we know applied voltage and if we know lambda n, we can wholly solve and find and predict this results. This and other concepts we can find. We can determine velocity, wavelength, energy. We can find all of that in all conditions. Only we need two data, applied voltage and lambda n. ARIDAŞIR'S constant and my formula can predict all of these concepts, energy, wavelength, velocity, etc. Basically, or complicated, this constant and formula can predict all of these. Yes, like taking a photograph. This is mine. Next, I will discuss in detail all of these subjects. And I will mention Compton effect, Compton wavelength, Compton experiment. I will discuss next. Here. These are about, according to my theorem formulas, free electron motion forms, relocating free electron motion forms situations about successive waves under the voltage effect or under the temperature effect. It is not different for me. Now I will erase that and I will say something about this subject. Okay, wait a moment. Yes. Here, free electron motion form at certain or changing velocity. Okay. And all this kind of graphs, whether under temperature, under voltage effects, it's not important when you saw discontinuity. Think of about relocating electron motion form, whatever under which effect. This is its graph. if an electron motion form is at rest, we cannot see this type of graph. If electron motion form exceed classically speed of light because of jets, no successive waves, we cannot see this graph shape, okay? Only at this condition we can see. And Wien's law or another, this X-rays, everything about relocating electron motion form, okay? And X-rays under potential electrical effect or blackbody radiation under temperature effect relates to relocating electron motion form. There is no difference between them, in fact. But I will compare ARIDAŞIR'S constant and my formula and Wien's law and Wien's constant. I will compare. Here, my constant lambda n minus delta lambda n. This distinction lambda n minus delta lambda n relocating electron motion form and constant frequency and changing wavelength concepts. There are no these concept and this distinction. Okay. Lambda. No lambda n minus delta lambda. Okay. Now, X-rays. Applied voltage. According to my theory, 90 degree, 0 degree. And just this, lambda n minus delta lambda n, okay? And my constant is, or lambda n minus delta lambda here, equal to 1227 divided by applied voltage. 10 kV, 20 kV, remember. Okay? In all size electron motion form, this is the formula and this is the constant which I put forth. These are mine. I guess what is the difference between Wien's law and my formula and my constant? Certainly, X-rays start like this. Okay, 0 degree, 90 degree. Relocation, electron motion forms relocation direction. And certainly, this formula and this constant and another my formulas fit the facts. Okay? But Wien's temperature effect, Blackbody, graphs, I guess these graphs don't start 90° and finished 0°, because of different technique they use for measuring and determining, I guess. Okay? But in spite of this, Wien's law and Wien's constant is or are one of my theoretical constant and formulas proofs. Okay? Temperature 1, temperature 2, temperature 3. This point, this point, this point, lambda, lambda, lambda. Lambda peak equal to, like this, micrometer key divided by temperature. Okay. But not lambda n minus delta lambda here. This point's not in that scale, X-rays graph scale, different scale. On X-rays graphs under the voltage effect, I guess this direction shows 0° relocation, electron relocating motion in direction of electron motion relocation, 0°. But here there are electron motion form, but not this graph doesn't show that direction degree, no 0. But in spite of that, my countings show that this is true. My theory and my formula is true for relocating electron motion form for each of that position. For X-rays under the voltage effect, or from the sun, infrared, or another from the star. Higher wavelength electron motion forms continuous spectrums, okay, not quanta, and different technique measuring. But I can reconcile these figures, not ideas. According to me, Wien's law concept is wrong, but figures and rates proof for my theory and my formulas and my constant. Okay? Yes. I will explain my formula and my constant, and Wien's law, formula and Wien's constant connection. Difference between two theory, my theory and Wien's theory, difference between them, and what is connection between them. Yes, I will explain, I will tell my computings and my explanations according to my theory next. Have a good afternoon. See you later.